So game 3, he's on the draw against Thomas.
Yeah, so Thomas here, he's going to be on the play. Let's see what he leads with. And it looks like it's going to be, Thoughtseize. So,
Yeah, this is one of the sideboard options that is available to elves. A lot of times they board into Thoughtseize.
Taylor has his sideboard card in his hand. He has one Grafdigger's Cage. So let's see if he decides to just force a will that Thoughtseize, thinking that the Grafdigger's Cage is really important in this matchup. But
decides to not 2-for-1 himself. He has 2 Force of Will, so he'll still have a Force of Will. We'll look at his hand here. It is a Scalding Tarn, a Volcanic Island, Tarmogoyf, Ponder, Force of Will, and as you said, a Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah, and Thomas does have a Green Sun Zenith in his hand, so if he doesn't take the Grafdigger's Cage likely to come down on Taylor's turn, and that will shut off any natural order Green Sun Zenith shenanigans for Thomas for the time being.
Yeah, it really depends, I think, for Thomas on how many of those effects he has. If he just has one effect, we may not see him take Grafdigger's Cage. Otherwise, it looks like the hate card will be what he has to take here.
Yeah, if he doesn't care about Grafdigger's Cage, I can see him taking Ponder here, to be honest, but if it is a concern for him, it looks like, yeah, he is in fact going to take the Grafdigger's Cage, and Taylor's just going to be left with Ponder, Force of Will, Tarmogoyf.
All right, so pass back. That was not a mana creature, any accelerant for Thomas Graves. So right now the board is still clear. See if Rug Delver can get that early attack on the board. It'll be a land into a Ponder. We see card 2 more lands and a Stifle. That is not the business spells that Taylor's looking for, and that will get a shuffle.
Yeah, so Taylor, not a bad hand. Despite the fact that he had to deal with Thoughtseize turn 1, he still has a Tarmogoyf, so he has a way to attack. He's got Force of Will. He also drew a Forked Bolt for the turn, so he has ways to kill Wirewood Symbiote if he has to deal with that. It looks like Thomas has an Elvish Visionary. We could see that coming into play on his turn. So Elvish Visionary plus Green Sun Zenith, suddenly your engine's online.
Yeah, and he sets up really nicely for this attrition fight. The difficult thing for Rug Delver is that when it becomes this reactive of a deck, it actually stops. Remember, it still needs to get that board control. Rug's that deck that gets ahead from turn 1 and then tries to hold on. So right now, Taylor's not losing, but the problem is he doesn't have that control of the board yet.
Yeah, but he's getting close. I mean, he drew a Wasteland there, so...
Yeah. Wasteland and Forked Bolt, so next turn he could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, the question is Thomas going to expose himself to Forked Bolt? Like you said, Green Sun Zenith and usually just gets Wirewood Symbiote, and then he kind of just grinds you out with Elvish Visionary for the time being to get a little more card advantage.
As we see, that turn 2 from Thomas was just Elvish Visionary, so one of the slower starts from Thomas there. We'll see turn 2, Taylor looks like he's going to get a threat onto the board with that Tarmogoyf, so we have a fetch for Tropical Island.
Yeah, and he still has that Force of Will, so if he just goes for Tarmogoyf here, which I think he has to, I mean, he's really not going to get a better position to cast it. So, and he does have Force of Will as a sort of protection in case Thomas tries to do something broken, like cast Natural Order somehow. So I think he's okay to kind of lead with Tarmogoyf here, just get that threat into play and start attacking.
All right, so Tarmogoyf is made here, and that will be the play for Taylor. But yeah, he is ahead on the board at the moment. Thomas really hasn't committed, lots of creatures to the board. Granted, elves sometimes will commit all its creatures in one turn.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful.
So let's see. It looks like we're going to lead with the Birchlar Rangers here.
All right, Birchlar Rangers, that will replace itself on mana, but Thomas has bigger ambitions for it. He's going to go with Heritage Druid. That threatens to make 3 green mana. We'll see if any of those Force of Wills are played by Taylor.
I don't think he has to, just because he has the Forked Bolt in his hand, but it looks like he is going to Force of Will the Heritage Druid. So now this means that Thomas is going to be able to tap the Elvish Visionary and the Birchlar Ranger for a green, sacrifice the Verdant Catacombs for another green, and then cast Green Sun Zenith for 1 to get a Wirewood Symbiote and get his engine online.
Yeah, the fact that Taylor used both his Force of Wills there does mean that Thomas will get to resolve probably what is the scarier card in Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah. So Wirewood Symbiote is going to come into play. Taylor does have a Forked Bolt for it, so we'll allow him to deal with the Wirewood Symbiote, but he's still going to be able to bounce either Birchlar Ranger or Elvish Visionary. That's going to be the tough spot for him.
Well, yeah. So we see right there, Wirewood Symbiote searched out with Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah, so I think what Taylor's likely going to do in his turn, depending on what he draws, he's probably just going to Forked Bolt targeting the Birchlar Ranger and the Wirewood Symbiote. I
Right.
probably just bounced the Versatile Ranger, considering that I think Thomas has another Green Sun Zenith in his hand.
Right. If he didn't, there would be some consideration for bouncing Visionaries that he gets another card. But you're absolutely right. There is another Green Sun in hand for Graves. So and actually the Visionary won't even be a target as Thomas goes ahead and returns that one on his own turn.
Yeah. So now, pretty good turn for Thomas. He's gonna, again, you minimize the effect of Forked Bolt.
Forkbolt will clear the board. Well, attempt to clear the board. The Burstler Rangers.
Well, it clears the board, but only kills one
Yes.
creature.
Well put. Which actually, from a Rug Delver point of view, that's really what's important. It's not about killing all their cards. It's just about getting them off the battlefield.
Yeah. So it looks like Wasteland's going to come down here. And the question is, does he use it on a land here, or does he save it for Guy's Cradle? And he is going to use it and that is wise, because if he didn't use it there, Thomas would have had enough mana to do the exact same thing. Like he'd play Visionary,
Replay
Versatile
Visionary.
Ranger, and then Zenith for 1 for the symbiote.
Elves is so cool. Yeah, I'll just play everything again and draw a card. That's fine, right? Yeah. All right.
So let's see here. Is he going to lead with Visionary?
Well, what Taylor is going for him is that all this action early in the game has put Tarmogoyf up to a 5-6 pretty early. We saw a chunk from 16 down to 11. The Tarmogoyf is actually a 3-turn clock and really is possibly a 2-turn clock. If Thomas helps out at all with the fetch land or Taylor has one more burn spell, it is just a 2-turn swing.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Taylor has any gas left in his hand. I think it's just another Wasteland.
Yeah, well, one of the big things you have to know is also that interaction between Symbiote and Visionary can blank an attacking creature. In this case, Tarmogoyf won't be able to get through.
So if Taylor doesn't draw some action on his turn, he's going to be in a tough spot because, again, Thomas does have that second Green Sun Zenith.
We will likely not see it in play this turn, though. We see Birchlow Rangers recast. It's a potential for 1 more mana of any color with those 2 elves, but I don't believe Thomas has any more 1-drops. And so he'll actually just pass.
So Taylor does have a 2-turn clock right now. He's got Thomas at 10, and he's got a 5-6 Tarmogoyf in play. And it looks like he's going to Wasteland the Bayou, attack for 5, and he did draw Delver Secrets.
All right, so Delver could swing over for those remaining 5 points if could be a pretty quick clock. Thomas is being kept low on mana.
Just another land for Thomas. Thomas drawing a lot of lands this game, which, again, you wouldn't mind playing as a Rug Delver to going after your mana, but he is facing 8 points of damage on the other side of the board.
Yeah, he's just running out of time right now.
Yep.
He has his card advantage engine. He has good inevitability. If he is at 15 life, he'd have to feel pretty confident about this board state, but he's at 5.
Well, right here, he can actually tap the Birchlow Ranger, tap the Elvish Visionary, and tap a Forest, a Green Sun for 1. You get a Wirewood Symbiote. You bounce the Elvish Visionary. You play a land. You recast the Visionary. You draw a card. Then on his turn, he can block Tarmogoyf with Elvish Visionary and bounce it with Wirewood Symbiote. So he only drops to 2, or 1 rather, because he's dropping the 1 because of the Misty Rainforest. So, yeah.
Well, to be fair, Taylor hasn't flipped the Delver yet.
That's true. He hasn't
So,
flipped the Delver.
I mean, I agree.
Worst case
completely with your
scenario,
line.
he flips the Delver with a Lightning Bolt.
You're probably just dead if that happens. He actually found Dryad Arbor here. That's a
wow.
blocker for the Delver Secrets, but what that does mean is that Thomas won't be able to go through that entire line you mentioned. That may be pretty prudent here. So what that costs him is he won't be able to bounce Elvish Visionary this turn, so he's losing a card by not taking that line. However, what it does mean is that if Taylor swings with an unflipped Delver, if Taylor doesn't flip the Delver, he won't be able to swing and put Thomas down to 3. He'll have to keep the Delver back. He doesn't want to trade it with the Dryad Arbor. So he may buy himself another turn that way. He could buy himself some Lightning Bolt insurance.
So you're saying if Delver doesn't flip?
If Delver doesn't flip, I think this is a better line. I think not taking 1 off a 1/1 is better than having an extra card right now for Thomas. If Delver flips, this line is worse. But in the situation that Delver doesn't flip, I like this.
I don't know what Thomas expects to do if he doesn't kind of start getting his engine going, though. That's the thing.
I mean, I agreed that Thomas still needs some action.
Because that Dryad Arbor cannot tap for mana, so he actually can't.
Yeah, when we see that, you said Green Sun for 2. He's going to go ahead, and I imagine it looks like another Wirewood Symbiote.
All right, so he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to block with the Elvish Visionary this turn.
I want to throw out another option of a line here, and this one's a little more interesting. What if Thomas had fetched for the Dryad Arbor and just Green Sun for Scavenging Ooze?
Does he have Scavenging Ooze in his?
He does.
Deck?
and then just like gain some life with it and grow it.
Well, that is certainly a card that is it's hard for Taylor to beat, but the problem is he's got a 3/2 flyer potentially in play, so it's really not going to help you race that, especially when you're at 4.
The card advantage is just too powerful to not search.
If he was at a higher life, I'd say that's probably a reasonable play, but I think the fact that he's at that low life. Oh, but hey, your line worked. He did not flip Delver.
Yeah, and as a result, this text blanked. So because he got Dryad Arbor, so say there wasn't a Dryad Arbor and it was tapped here. The Delver would have to trade with Birchlord. That's something Thomas doesn't want.
Yeah.
So now Taylor couldn't swing. Thomas gets to stay at 4 life. And now
Yeah,
he's
so
safe from a Delver flip.
Interesting here. He's safe from a Delver flip, and now he has Elvish Visionary.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure I take that line. I use that to describe it as my line, but I was pointing out, I think, what Thomas is on.
Yeah. So he draws another Elvish Visionary for the turn. He can generate mana with the Birchlord Ranger.
Yeah, he's still at a real low life total. He's 2 mana for another
Yeah,
Visionary.
he actually can't use the Misty Rainforest in his hand.
Yeah,
Oof.
Abrupt Decay has been drawn. Now can he use the Misty Rainforest? He can find Bayou. He can kill.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have any mana though. That's the problem.
If it were but next turn.
Next
perhaps.
turn. Next turn. Yeah.
It does put him still kind of dead to Lightning Bolt.
No, but if Delver flips, it doesn't matter. He needs to
Delver-
naturally draw a Bayou. Because if Delver flips next turn, he drops to 1.
He goes to 1 and he can't fetch.
But he does have Birchlord Ranger,
Yeah,
which
Birchlord
taps
Rangers
for,
make any color.
Yeah, so
he has black mana.
He has
no
black
problem.
mana. He just doesn't. He can't use his Misty Rainforest. That's all.
Yeah, if he had a basic, he could Abrupt Decay right now. He could use the Wirewood Symbiote to bounce a creature, untapping an elf.
Yep.
It is
So
not available to him.
basically, worst case scenario, Taylor draws either a Rough Tumble. If he reveals Rough Tumble with Delver, is probably pretty bad. Reveals Lightning Bolt is bad.
Rough Tumble with
Yeah.
Well, that would probably be game if he reveals.
Yeah. So if Thomas can just get Taylor to brick one more turn, I think he's in decent shape. He's got the Abrupt Decay, and then he's got Tarmogoyf on lockdown. So he has an answer to Delver's secrets, and he has Tarmogoyf on lockdown with the.
He's just gonna go ahead and recast. He bounces Birchlord Ranger to untap Dryad Arbor, recasts his Birchlord Rangers. That gets him 1 mana.
Oh wow! So okay. So a good flip there. He not only flips, but it's a ponder. So it gives him a little more search here. So he can dig a little bit more for that Lightning Bolt and try to lock the game up.
Lightning Bolt, Rough Tumble, both wins here for Taylor.
Yep.
Can he find either? There is an Abrupt Decay waiting, so if he doesn't find either, Thomas will be safer on the untap.
And there's Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, first one is a bolt, and that'll do it. Taylor Scott gets the game on the draw, and the fair deck of Rug Delver will be moving into the finals.
Yeah. So if you're wondering whether or not Taylor Scott's going to lose a match, the answer is on his T-shirt.
Nope.
Nope.
No. So we have the 1 versus 2 seed lining up in the finals, and both players going over this one here.
So Rug Delver versus Show and Tell.